Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this Friday afternoon. I'm Alan Locher, and welcome to the Locher Room. Ravi Roth is an LGBTQ plus travel expert and YouTube content creator. And Gaycation Magazine has just launched their brand new digital travel show, Gaycation Travel Show, hosted by Ravi, who was named as Gaycities' Best Insta Traveler of 2019 and Metrosource's People We Love in 2020. Roth has trekked to over 32 countries, documenting his travels through his own Ravi Round the World brand. Every Friday, Gaycation Travel Show will air new episodes exclusively through Gaycation Magazine's official YouTube channel. Viewers will be treated to various experiences based around the people who live in the destinations, and will learn more about the queer perspective in each city, the best places to stay, eat, and explore, as well, the most important thing, what to pack for each location. Please welcome to the Locher Room, Ravi Roth. I mean, what to pack, right?
What to pack?
the tank tops, the tank tops.
Oh, you can never pack enough tank tops.
No, you can't. You can't. So we're making this a yearly thing. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on again, Alan.
You're welcome, and happy Pride.
Happy Pride to you.
What is Ravi's earliest memory of traveling?
Well, as a family, we would go to Rehoboth Beach, the gay beach.
Yeah.
Nobody in my family realized it was a gay beach until we got older. And I was like, wait, we all went to a gay beach as kids, but we went there every summer from when I was 7 till I was 13. So that was my first travel. Yeah.
Oh, no wonder you're gay.
I mean,
that's fantastic, though. What a place. Where did you grow up?
I grew up outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania, in this small town that's basically like Varsity Blues, and it's called Dalton, Pennsylvania. Football town. My brother was like the jock of the football team. My sister was the all-state musician, and I was the misfit trying to find my place.
Oh, boy. And what was Ravi like as a child in Dalton, Pennsylvania?
As a child, I just remember I always had a zest for life. I think I was misunderstood quite a bit. People didn't really get me. For Halloween, everyone would dress up as like a G.I. Joe or a Transformer. And I always wanted to be unique and different. So I remember I dressed up, I loved goats. I had a really big passion for goats growing up. So I remember dressing up as a blue mountain goat. And I wore my blue sleeping bag. I put drumsticks as my horns. I had cotton balls as my beard. And I was just so proud walking around in our 4th grade parade. And everyone was like, Ravi, you're so weird. But I was like, you know what? I'm unique. And I beat to my own drum. So I feel like I've always kind of been like that. But you know, I definitely got bullied for being weird, and I was bigger when I was a younger kid, and everyone would call me gay, even though I didn't know I was gay. Like I'm sure most of us experienced growing up. Hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always had a zest for life, though.
Before we even knew the word for what that meant, we were called, you know, sadly, that name. So was there any doubt really that performing or acting or hosting would be your path?
I always knew since I was, I think 6 years old is when I was in my first musical. And
you remember which one?
How to Eat Like a Child and other lessons. It was like this company called the Church Mouse Players, and we did these really avant-garde, create your own type of performances. And my mom got my sister, my brother, and I into it. So my dad would go to work, and the rest of us would go to these plays. And I became obsessed with it. And then everybody grew out of it except for me. And then I remember my junior year of high school, I had to do a research paper on what do I want to be when I grow up. And then I found out I can actually go to college for musical theater because I didn't know. I had no role models. I had no idea that I can other than like, yes, I want to be on Broadway, but you can actually study Broadway in college. So I then was like, this is going to be for life. And my dad, the practical one, was always like, you got to have a backup plan, son. What's your backup plan?
Yeah.
Little did I know my backup plan would turn into hosting a gay travel show.
Crazy. Whatever that show name you just said reminds me, in 5th grade, we did a show. It was like Easter with the Fonz, and it was all different, sort of like I actually played Donny Osmond, you know. So it was like this weird conglomeration of people performing like TV characters that are. I have no idea where this idea came from. That's all I know is that I played Donny Osmond in something called Easter with the Fonz.
Yes, Donny Osmond.
So what was it like going to the Boston Conservatory?
It was amazing and it was awful. It was amazing because I was like in the top school for musical theater, and it was awful because I wasn't the best. And I was constantly getting rejected and constantly proving that I was good enough in an atmosphere that really like tore you down. But I got really, really fucking good. So I appreciated that, but I didn't really have much room to fail because I felt so much pressure the whole time, but it really prepared me for New York and what it's like in the theater scene. And it's brutal and it's great. I mean, it's wonderful when I get to do stuff, and it's brutal when I get rejected, but you kind of, it's all part of the process of like, okay, well, on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, God bless actors, because that rejection thing. Do you still actively go out on a lot, or is the travel and Ravi Round the World and the Gaycation Travel Show more your focus?
Well, it's interesting. I was hardcore Ravi Round the World, and then I got into A Letter to Harvey Milk. That was in 2018. Yeah, 20 or 29. It was like for 4 months, either 2018 or 2019. And then I stopped all travel and I got to just perform, and I got to understudy my idol, Harvey Milk, and I got to go on a ton. Yeah. And I also played Dan White, the guy who killed her.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
I played a Nazi. I played a Nazi.
I don't like those people.
No, don't really like them either. So I got to do that, and then was back in the thick of auditioning, and then COVID happened. And I did travel and I auditioned, and then when COVID happened, Broadway shut down. Yeah. And then I got the opportunity to become the host of the Gaycation Travel Show. And we have spent, the executive producer, DJ Doran, who is amazing, who owns Equalitas Media, which is the umbrella company that owns Gaycation Magazine, which is the leg that puts on the Gaycation Travel Show. He and I got to really spend like eight months really developing this show. And really That's wanting awesome. To attack it, like, let's go out and shoot it and let's put it out there. And we initially wanted to get everything shot and ready to go for August, and then it was November, and then it was January, and then it was March.
Yeah. I mean, everything shut down. That's what's so impressive of what you did. So where did the idea come from? Did you meet him? Did he come up with the idea? Did he see Ravi Round the World?
Well, he had the base idea of wanting to do the Gaycation Travel Show, and he had auditions for the host, and I got offered the show on the spot, and yeah, he saw my videos, and I got to meet with the whole team. I put this whole audition together, and yeah, we really worked on this together. We wanted to make it about destinations coming out of COVID, and we wanted to make it about travel safety. But then a lot of the destinations we wanted to work with, we couldn't, because we wanted to work with some guest influencers, but they were in lockdowns. Like this wonderful woman, Aisha, that was going to be on our episode in London, they were on lockdown till like 2 months ago. Yeah. So it's just a lot of things we had to pivot on. And the episode that came out today, which was the Orlando/Mount Dora episode, we shot in November.
Which I never heard of, Mount Dora, by the way. Yeah, and we'll get to that. But well, that's why I was curious when I watched Brighton, especially New York City. You did with Ivan, our good friend Ivan. But you know, Brighton, my assumption was that it was COVID that prevented you from being there for that. Yeah, which I was. You know, I told you I'm out here in the Hamptons with friends, and I was talking about Brighton, and one of our hosts is from England, and was telling us all about Brighton. I mean, I from your show, I want to go there immediately.
Oh, see, that's it. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to inspire people to travel. Yeah,
I've never been. I've been to London, you know, I love London. I love England, you know, and been to a few different places, but never been there. And you know, those gals did a great job making me want to go.
Yeah, they're awesome. And you know, we found each other on Instagram friends.
I assume that's where you find most of these influencers, right?
Yeah, it is. Between like Instagram and travel conventions, you know, we're a small. It's really similar to the theater community, but it's like the queer travel community. It's much more niche, and we all kind of know each other and go in each other's bubbles. But some people are really good at blogging and doing photos, so I think it was a little tricky finding people that could translate it onto video.
Right. Because if they're just doing photos, right, you have to find articulate individuals who can, you know, attract people to want to go to Brighton.
Right.
Crazy. You've been to approximately 32 countries, right?
32 countries, yeah.
I mean, some of your favorites?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think South Africa. I'm obsessed with South Africa. Ooh. I loved Chile. I loved going to Santiago in Chile. Everybody always goes to Santiago to then go to the outskirts. They go to the Andes Mountains, they go south, they go north. But I really got to spend time in Santiago proper, and it was breathtaking. It was amazing. The art, the graffiti, the history, the food. I mean, I feel like every single place I go to, I always find something that I'm obsessed with about it. Istanbul, just seeing the architecture blew my mind. Copenhagen, the same thing. Architecture, like I'm a big sucker for architecture. Even just going to Tulsa, it has the most amount of Art Deco. Well, it's up there in Miami and New York City in the country for the most amount of Art Deco. So, and it's not like skyscrapers, but the buildings they have were really beautiful.
I agree. I mean, architecture, it's so interesting. I mean, not that I've been to 32 countries, I've been to a lot, but you've just named 3 places I've never been. Copenhagen, Chile, and South Africa. Been to, well, Tanzania, but not South Africa.
I haven't been to Tanzania, so you got me there.
Safari. I mean, we've done it once already. I would do it in a heartbeat again. I highly recommend that.
I would love to do a safari. That hasn't happened yet.
well, besides safari, what is on your travel bucket? A place you've always been dying to go?
I've always wanted to go to Iceland. I've never been to
me too. And that talk about beauty. The photos from Iceland always blow my mind. Anybody even if you're a bad photographer, I feel like you can't walk away from going to Iceland with a bad photograph. Every picture I see of Iceland is stunning.
I'm really hoping I get to go there for Pride this year. That's
when is their Pride? Do you mean
it's in the beginning of August?
Ah.
So
and are you trying to
save up my shekels? I can go.
Are you trying to do it for Gaycation Travel Show?
No, so so Gaycation Travel Show, we have three more episodes that are airing between now and July 2nd. And then I am doing I'm doing my own Pride show. So I am going to Prides around the world and really bringing it back to the roots and bringing it back to the basics, finding out about queer history, what Pride means to people, and why is it city specific? What are the struggles? What are the triumphs? What are the queer safe spaces that still exist? And I'm starting tomorrow in Brooklyn.
That's awesome. That's a great idea. Great idea. You know, when we did the Pride show last year, I had a friend of mine who does the Christopher Street tours on before you guys. I've been dying to do his show because I don't know enough about our queer history. You know, I think there's so much for all of us to learn.
So much.
So much. And going to these different cities is a great way to, you know, do that, you know. Mm-hmm. So talk about the spark for Ravi Round the World. You know, it's 10 years next year, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Congratulations.
Thank you. It all started by accident, which is crazy. My first trip that I ever went solo was to go to Hamburg to then meet my ex in Berlin. And no, reverse. I went to Berlin to then meet my ex in Hamburg. And I had a layover. So I was like, I'm going to make it a gayover and stay for 24 hours and really like see this city. And it blew my mind. And I loved it. I loved being on my own. I loved the freedom. I loved just talking to people, connecting with people. I stayed at a gay version of an Airbnb called Mr. B&B. Do you know Mr. B&B?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I've never used it, but in my previous job, they had approached us to do some work.
Yeah, it was awesome. It
Yeah.
was awesome. And then I got to go around the city and I was like, this is really cool. So the next trip after that was Istanbul. And I was like, I'm going to make some videos in Istanbul about the queer culture. And I was really fascinated with, and I still am, with the nightlife. And I went on Google and I went on Gaycities and I typed queer bars or gay bars in Istanbul. 7 were listed. 4 of the 7 didn't exist. 2 of the 7 had the wrong address. And there was one hole in the wall, dumpy place that was in an apartment building. And I'm like, am I going to get killed here? And I went upstairs and I walked in. They were playing these ridiculous music videos. There was like 6 people there. And I got one guy that spoke English, and he told me all about the queer culture and how it's a very underground type of scene there. And I'm like, people need to know about this. And people need to know about this in a way that's not like reading an article. Everyone can write an article or a blog. Like, I'm a very visual person. I love to create video content. So I made a little video and I put it on Instagram, and it kind of took off on there. And that was like really the spark of it. And, you know, I taught myself how to edit. I was tragic at first. I think we all are, right? We have to teach ourselves really how to do it. But, you know, I'm just really trying to upgrade.
Yeah. Before that trip though, had you been videoing yourself and doing some short things?
Before that trip, I went with that same ex to London, Paris, and Barcelona. And that was the first time I ever did anything video wise. My brother told me I should journal, and I don't journal. And so he said I should videotape, and I videotaped like this, you know, with the vertical phone. And so when I put it on YouTube, there was like the black squares on the side. Yeah. So it was really jankety. And my talent manager, Jeremy Katz, who's also a producer on the Gaycation Travel Show, he said that I could have a travel show and I'm really funny. And I just, you know, from then on, I kind of just experimented and went to conventions and BS'd my way into the world of queer travel until I finally like learned format, and I learned how to do it, and I learned why me and what I have to offer, and why does someone want to pay attention to what I have to say. And then like it's constantly evolving. So now it's like, it's not about me. It's about the destination. It's about the humans in the destination. So now I take me out. Of course, I'm going to be in because I'm the host.
Right. And and it's your right. It's your sparkling personality. Well, it was interesting because in Orlando, it was the first time that I actually saw you with your, what are they called again that you shoot with?
Selfie stick?
No. Yeah, but is it a selfie stick that you use for the video? Well, don't they have a name? I can't think of the name right now.
A stabilizer?
It might be, yeah. That might be it.
A long stick that's kind of fancy sometimes.
Yeah, I know the selfie stick, but I think it's a stabilizer. It might be a stabilizer. Yeah.
No, but that's so it's not like handy.
Yeah. Because I mean, you do a great job, and it's just, you know, I wonder if that's, you know, just practice makes perfect, really. You know?
You just get better. You just get like anything, but you have to keep practicing. If you don't. You know, and that's the part that I'm so grateful about with Gaycation Travel Show, is that like I had this whole opportunity to like really create my own thing. It was really hard though, because it was in the middle of COVID. So there were a lot of, like, I couldn't really do anything in the arts. I couldn't really go inside a lot of places.
Oh, interesting. You're right. Totally. Didn't even think of that. Right. You right.
So we did the best we could during the circumstances that we had. But towards the end of this season, it gets real fierce, because we have a crew so I don't have to shoot on my own. We have a crew in our last 2 cities, and I was with like the whole team. There was a drone operator, there was 2 cameramen, a sound person, and I just got to live my Anthony Bourdain / Samantha Brown life.
That's great. Wait, so Orlando aired today, Brooklyn is next week, right?
Yeah.
And then what's one more after that, or 2 more after?
Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which I think might be the surprise game changer of the season. And then ending with Chicago, which also is incredible.
Great. Oh, I mean, that's incredible. Yeah, I mean, like New York, I was like, in the New York episode, the Conrad Hotel, I was like, I've never heard of it. It looked fabulous. That view was incredible.
Oh my God, it's amazing. And just like the architecture inside of there, but also like I love hotels that just have like such that just like care, you know, the people that work there just really care. They and I think that a lot of things are evolving, you know, like what are your pronouns, you know, asking that when we check in, and not assuming, you know, if you travel with another guy that you'll have 2 different beds. So it's just, I think people are becoming, especially in the hotel industry and especially with the Hilton brand, they are a step ahead of the game for a lot of different hotel chains.
My husband still laughs. We went to China when he had a class, like a week-long class in Shanghai, and we checked into the hotel, and it was Mr. and Mrs. Locher. Oh, Mrs. No, it was his last name. It was Mr. Yeah, I was Mrs. Tarochi, not, you know. Yeah, they just assumed.
Well,
2 people.
Did you then play it up? Were you then like, hello,
Yes, that would have been fantastic. Oh my God. So how did you choose your cities and destinations for?
It was so random. We wanted to do known and familiar destinations, and we wanted to do off the beaten path destinations. So the familiar
Tulsa, I assume, isn't off the beaten.
Tulsa's off the beaten. Brooklyn, even though it's part of New York City, that's still off the beaten.
Still, yeah. Many people never went. I mean, so many people come to the city and too afraid to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's still like, I'm getting out my passport to go to Brooklyn. Right. But Brooklyn it's just got such rich everything. Like, I love Brooklyn. I mean, if I wasn't so, like, I like to go out in Manhattan, and I like to go to restaurants in Manhattan, and I have a lot of friends here. But other than that, like, take me to Brooklyn.
Well, feels like everything is in Brooklyn these days. I mean, even parties are now, you know, you see things popping up, and they're, you know, where is it? Oh, Brooklyn. Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I'm excited to see it, because I'd love, you know, there's so many things to learn from your show about the, you know, the destinations.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's the goal. You know, we want to, especially with the known destinations, we want to just give something different, a different spin on it, or, you know, getting different perspectives and different points of view.
Yeah. Did you reach out to a lot of different people? Like, are there things, yeah, I'm just curious, like, how you chose specifically what you featured.
Yeah, we reached out to a lot of different influencers or queer content creators, and because of the pandemic and restrictions, it was just really hard. So I think it's really hard for someone who's never done video content to then take it on and make a whole episode ride on themselves without like a crew or me being there to help guide it. So there was a couple instances where we had to pivot, and, you know, hopefully we can get them in for season 2 or season 3 when we get to actually go to these destinations.
Yeah, that's going to be a game changer for you.
Oh yeah. I mean, Josh Reimer from Vancouver did a great job, and he does this for a living. But the girls, Tosh and Martha from Brighton, they were amazing. And this was the first time they ever did a video like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But they're great on Instagram. They're amazing on Instagram. They're amazing. They know how to turn it on for the camera. And then next week, my besties in life, Gabby and Shanna from 27 Travels, they do this like every week. So
aren't they based in Jersey City or something?
No, they're based in Brooklyn. They're Brooklyn.
Oh, they're Brooklyn. I feel like I met them at IGLTA.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I did. You know, I only attended once.
The one in New York City?
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's where I met you, I think, for the first time. Your like 5 best travel tips for anybody traveling that you would, not about gay travel, just your 5 travel tips.
Be aware of where you're going and be respectful of the culture. Number 1. Number 2, at least learn hello, thank you, where's the bathroom, if you're going somewhere where English is not the first language. You don't have to like have it, you don't have to know everything, but at least know the basics, because otherwise you're just ignorant. Number 3, pack extra socks, because nothing is worse than if your socks get wet or your socks get dirty and you have to reuse your socks. Number 4, you can always pack an elaborate amount of tank tops. They don't take up much room. And number 5, make sure you have some sunscreen. I would get like a little travel guy, but I love to walk to explore a city or bike.
Oh, me too.
And when you get sunburnt, it's just not cute. And and you feel like shit.
Walking is the best thing.
Yeah. But definitely don't forget your sunscreen. I feel like that's like something for in general for even like daily life in New York or anywhere you are, because that sun will get you.
It will. I had my sunscreen on today out here. Matt just asked where we can watch the show. He might have missed it. YouTube, Gaycation Travel Show on YouTube. Yes. So those are your travel tips. Those are good ones. I'm impressed with those. So where's the first place you went after COVID? Was it Tulsa or one of these cities that you?
Well, the first place I went, it was in the middle of COVID, and that was Orlando and Mount Dora, which the episode dropped today. So that was my first trip during the good old pandemic. And after that, I came back to New York and I went on the Gaycation. Well, I went to Tulsa to do Gaycation Travel Show. And then my dad, my sister, and my brother joined me. And we got to spend 5 days in Tulsa as a family. And it was the first time. It was our first time traveling as a family, as like just the four of us. And then my dad and I went on a road trip from Tulsa to Los Angeles in a stick shift truck.
Did you drive stick shift before?
Oh yeah, we had to all get our license driving a stick shift. I failed 3 times. I couldn't parallel park. Parallel parking killed me. But I mean, it was a great bonding experience with my dad. He's super fearless, and he was like, let's just go out there before everyone starts to do it. And it was great to see America. You know, it was the first time I really ever noticed windmills, and there were a lot of them. And
amazing. I'd like to see more of our own country. That's something I haven't done either. You know,
it's a lot of open space that's not occupied, and then you'll see like a random church,
but beautiful, right? Like
it is pretty to see the plains and then see the mountains, and then going through the Rockies, and then getting to California. You know, it was nice, but
what a great bonding experience.
It was cool. Yeah,
that's really awesome.
Yeah,
love that. Love that. Let's see. Have you been to all the cities? Have you been to Brighton, prior to?
Never went to Brighton, and I never went to Vancouver, but I've been to the rest. And I'm now in it for the rest of the season. So I join Gabby and Shanna in Brooklyn next week, and then I am in Cedar Rapids full out, and then I'm in Chicago full out. That's
awesome. That's awesome. And are you thinking about next season?
Of course we're thinking about it, but there's just trying to stay in the day, especially now with Pride and Pride Month, and just doing the most this month. And next week I'm doing something so rad, and I'm going around the country, and I'm going to different prides. And so Gaycation season 2, we're going to get to once we finish season 1. But we're still promoting, and we're still doing a lot of press, and we're still putting the package together of all of the final 3 destinations and all of the social media that goes with it. So it's like it's a full-time job still, even though we've shot all of season 1.
I bet it is. How many cities are you going to for Pride?
I'm not sure exactly yet, but this month I'm doing Brooklyn, and then I'm doing something really exciting. Next week I'm going to the Tri-State Black Pride in Memphis. So they have Memphis, Mississippi, and Missouri. The three states come together for Black Pride, and it's a 4-day event in Memphis. So I'm going to go and cover that. And then I'm going to come home for a few days, and then I'm going to Columbus, Ohio for Pride. And then I'll be back in New York for New York Pride.
Wow. I didn't even know there was a Black Pride in, or the tri-states in that area, which I think is fantastic. What are you doing for Pride New York? It's such a weird year because
I'm getting back on Sunday Pride morning from Columbus. So I think just bop around. I think it's still up in the air about it's not really announced yet what exactly is going down and what exactly is happening. So
I think there's various things that, there's a new club in your neck of the woods. They just sold tickets to it today. Q Club.
Where's that?
I think you're in Hell's Kitchen, right?
No, I'm in Chelsea.
Oh, okay. In Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. Q Club.
Yeah.
I used to be in Hell's Kitchen, so that's probably.
Oh, okay, that's probably why. Q Club. I think it's owned by Jake Shears, Zachary Quinto,
Ooh.
Charlie Carver, and someone else. But it's like a 4-floor. Yeah, look it up online. They just like crazy. I didn't know it was opening Pride, and I think they just announced it today, and it's sold out. Crazy. Of course. Yeah. Of course.
Kids are on it.
Yeah, those young kids. You know, back to your New York City episode. Love that you took people to my favorite spot for the view. You know, people should check out the New York episode because that view is I tell everybody.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just the view on top of the rock.
Yeah.
That view is
Spectacular.
So it's the only view really that's unobstructed. Like the edge is great, but you have to have like a really, really long selfie stick and you actually can't bring a selfie stick up there. So the top of the rock is the only place where it's like really an obstructed view with 2 different levels. And it's just so cool. I highly recommend going to that too. And
it's that I haven't done, but it's the entire city. The other thing is I've never been to the edge yet and I'm dying to do that.
Yeah, the edge is cool.
Yeah, I mean it looks cool. I mean there's the Chrysler one opening, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That one's a little more scary, but because I'm afraid of heights. So
well, were you scared at the edge then?
I was scared until I got up there, but then when you crawl out onto the like clear platform and you just look down into the city, it's super trippy. But in Chicago, in our last episode of the season, I went to the top of the Sears building, and that is just a platform that sticks. So like, here's the edge, and it like sticks out, like, and nothing's holding it up. So you're just literally on a sheet like this thick, like it's like it looks like it's 5 inches thick. And so that I was like squealing like a little piggy.
You're making me think. I saw a news piece, probably like Today's Show or something. A new pool in England, I think it was, that is literally. By Penn Station, there's that walkway across 33rd Street. It goes from one street to the next. It's basically like a pool going across one street, and it's completely clear looking down to the floor. I would never do it ever.
I would totally do that.
I think it would freak me out. I mean, could you imagine that? Yeah, I mean, that's insane. Your Tulsa episode, I want to go to the Inner Circle vodka bar.
Cool,
that looked incredible.
They have so many, I forget the amount, but they have like all of these infused vodkas, and I tried the horseradish one, which was, I was like, but it was really good. And they get you. And Andy Cagle, who's the owner, he's like the.
Is he the one on camera?
Yeah, he's the one on camera.
He was great.
But he's like the definition of allyship. You know, he and his bar, you know, because the tourism office, Visit Tulsa, were incredible planning out, you know, specific things that they wanted me to do in the LGBTQIA space. And Andy Cagle was like, I want Ravi to come here. And she's like, it's not necessarily a queer bar, but they really want you to come and check it out. And so I think that's the kind of stuff that's really interesting. It's like, okay, it's not a queer space, but they're allies. And that's
amazing. I didn't even realize that. I missed that if you said that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
Yeah, sorry. I missed out. You know, I was looking at the vodka, but I love you know, how timely too your Tulsa episode was. You talked about the Black Wall Street incident and meeting Michelle from the Greenwood Cultural Center, which was incredible.
Yeah, and then she was on the History Channel, and she was on CNN, and she is the spokesperson for the Greenwood Cultural Center for the Tulsa Race Massacre. And it's just so wild, the timing of this season. The the 100-year anniversary was May 30th or 31st. Yeah, May 31st to June 1st. And that episode came out last week. And then the Orlando episode came out today, and tomorrow is the 5-year anniversary of the Pulse Massacre. And both things we covered in the show. And when we were planning out the season, we didn't put that together at all, like when the dates of these things would happen. So
I bought my t-shirt to donate for them because, you know, I love that they're making that memorial that you feature. Yeah. I remember waking up that morning, seeing that on the news. I mean, it actually blows my mind that it is 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember I woke up the morning and I found out, I looked at my phone and I just started sobbing. And being there and seeing the building still there and the flowers and the tributes and the signs and the music playing and the different stories coming together, it wrecked me. And it was a moment, and I would interview some people in Orlando, and some of them got onto the video and some of them didn't, but I would ask them about this massacre that happened. And they said that, like, obviously, you know, it's kind of like in New York City for 9/11, like it's like 6 degrees of separation. Somebody knows somebody who lost their life, and it's just the same for Pulse. And it's so much more recent, and it was the biggest massacre on American soil in the queer community. It the people that day and the days after and even now have just come together, and it was so beautiful to see, like, gay, straight, old, young people were just supportive. And even, like, you know, Florida's a red state, but Orlando's a very blue area.
Yeah.
But it was just seeing the support of people and hearing the stories of people that lives have been completely changed since then. It was a super powerful moment.
I bet.
One of the most powerful moments I've ever experienced in my travels.
Well, I think, you know, you and I being two gay men who go dancing, we know how that easily could have been any one of our friends and family that we love. You know, it's a tragedy beyond anything. Like in what we consider our safe space, really. You know,
yeah. And so I think that's, like, also a part of it. I mean, obviously, posting about Pulse nightclub or posting about the Tulsa race massacre is not, like, going to be like, oh, I want to go to Florida now, or I want to go to Tulsa because of that. But you have to understand certain parts of history. And I think it's really important. And if that's, like, not fun enough for some people, then it's not fun enough for some people, but it's important to me. And I want to showcase stuff like that in different destinations.
And it's important to our history. You said it in the Tulsa episode. I mean, we didn't learn that in school. We didn't learn that.
And people still don't know about that.
Yeah,
and
it's mind-boggling. Right. It's mind-boggling that we did not learn about that, and that people fight wanting to educate people about that. I mean, you learn from the past, you learn from history. We try not to make the same mistakes, and those things are important. And I commend you for, you know, highlighting them, and they should. You also had a very scary moment, or what seemed like a scary moment, in Tulsa. The alarms start going off, and
okay, so my first day, I'm at the box yard, and there's this happy hour event, and I'm, you know, interviewing people, asking them questions, and I'm like, so how often do tornadoes come? Like, I would love to see a tornado. And I totally put that energy out there, and I'm outside and I'm looking around, and the sky's getting real gray. And I was with the VP of Tourism, Lauren Snedden, and she was taking me to this farm to table, amazing lesbian-owned restaurant, and it's called Farm Bar. And we went to Farm Bar, and we were
love that name.
We were meeting with two of her friends and people that are great in the queer space in Tulsa. So we're sitting at dinner and it's downpouring rain. And I'm like, guys, is there gonna be a tornado? And then all of a sudden, like you saw the footage. I'm looking around and the rain and the water are like doing spirals and I've never seen rain come down like that before. All of a sudden the siren goes off and Lauren's like, oh yeah, by the way, that's the tornado warning. And I'm like, that's the tornado warning? What are we doing sitting under a tent outside at a restaurant? Why are we not getting shelter right now? And they're like, oh, these things happen all the time. Now, so it's either tornado warning or tornado watch. The one of them means it's coming. And that's the one that rang. So the tornado did touch down. It was 20 miles away from where we were. So it wasn't in Tulsa proper, but she was there 20 miles away. She could have easily come down to where we were. We did not get cover. And then all of a sudden, like 20 minutes later, the streets are completely dry. It's back to being humid and muggy. And it's like nothing ever happened.
That's wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's two things I really don't ever want to witness. It's a tornado and an earthquake.
Right? I mean, the tornado, I love Twister. Like, I love tornado movies. I love The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in one.
No, thank you. Definitely skip that today.
Yeah.
So the Orlando episode out today, you picked another great hotel. I've stayed there twice in Orlando, the Universal Lowe's Resort. We actually, when I worked on Guiding Light, the whole show stayed there.
Yes.
We did a remote there. So we all stayed at the Lowe's Resort that you picked. It's a pretty great hotel.
Right. And it was still like in the thick of COVID. So every day we had to get our temperature checked, and then they gave us wristbands, and then they were different color coordination. And then if you had tested, or if you like had a higher temperature, you had to go to a medical tent that was in the hotel. So they were really on it. They were really on it. And then it was so close to all the parks too, as you know, which was great.
And you hadn't been there since you had gone to Gay Days, and then was it with your family or something? You said you were there twice.
I went to Orlando with my high school marching band to go.
Right. It was a trip, school trip.
Magic Kingdom. And then, so crazy story. I went to, Florida has Gay Days and they have One Magical Weekend. They're two rival companies. So when people think of like Gay Days, it's you wear red shirts in the parks. One Magical Weekend was like parties like at Typhoon Lagoon, at Universal, or at Hollywood Studios. So it was like these crazy dance parties that were at the parks, and they shut the parks down, Epcot Center as well. So I went to go cover that. 5 years ago, and I was at Pulse nightclub the Saturday before the Saturday of the massacre. That's when I was there for One Magical Weekend.
I've never heard of one. I mean, I went to Gay Disney in 2004, but I've always wanted to go back. I had a blast.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never heard of one. Yeah,
it's really fun. But it's like, it's like a bunch of circuit parties that are in the parks, and you kind of like take it as you will. So like during the day, you could party all day, all night for 5 days in a row and then be dead. Or you could, go sightsee or go see some parks. So we would go to like some parks during the day, and then at night we would go to the park parties. So it was a really cool experience, especially they shut down the park and it was just the gays at night.
Oh, yeah.
Dancing.
I remember that. It's pretty spectacular. Did you have fun? Because I know you had to choose between Universal and Disney this time around for the Orlando show. Did you have fun at Universal?
I did, because I never, I think I said that Universal was part of One Magical Weekend, but it wasn't. I'd never been to Universal Studios. I was at Hollywood Studios, and I was at Magic Kingdom, and I was at Epcot, but I was never at Universal Studios. So that was really cool.
And did you have a favorite ride?
I hate/love roller coasters. I
hear that. I can understand it.
Oh my God. It's so terrifying. But like
I think as you get older, they affect me in, harder than they did when I was a young kid.
Yeah, the whiplash is real. But I got to go there. I was with Rachel Covello, who is from Outcoast, Florida, who then took me to Mount Dora. But I was also with my executive producer DJ Doran and his husband Joe. So we got to, our first time knowing each other was really like going to this park. And
Oh, that's fun.
Harry Potter World, that was the coolest.
It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry Potter World's the best.
Yeah. The flaming dragon, right? The
Oh my God. And I got a wand. I love my wand.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I loved the Van Gogh house that you highlighted. That was amazing.
And a really cool story. I mean, the fact that they this autistic child wanted to have a Van Gogh fence, and the city said, no, your house has to match your fencing, whatever rule that is. So then they said, fine, we'll make a Van Gogh house. Like those are some cool parents, right? Those are some cool parents.
Yeah, totally. And I love that you asked the guy there who I think lived in Key West what it was like living there now. What is it called? The town where the Van Gogh is?
Mount Dora, Florida.
Mount Dora. And it's about 40 minutes from Orlando?
Like 45 minutes driving, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had never heard of it.
Me neither. Who knew?
Who knew? It's crazy. I mean, that's the best part of you going out and exploring for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love finding places I don't know. I think this season was cool to go to like the bigger cities, but I loved going to these like small town tier 2, tier 3 destinations because they just care so much about their cities. You think about it, like what gays want to stay in Tulsa or Cedar Rapids or Mount Dora? You know, they stay probably because it's a little more affordable, but they also stay because they want to make change. They want to make it for the generations growing up in these small towns like Dalton, outside of Scranton, to have role models, to have queer people exist, because they exist everywhere. So why not stay and try to make some radical change happen in your community? That's what really lights me up about learning about these other small cities.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That answers the best right there. Not that I asked a question, but that response. So let's do a quick round like you do.
Okay.
What's the first word that pops into your head when you hear the word travel?
Gay.
Grinder or scruff?
Scruff.
Favorite queer bar anywhere that you've been to?
I love the Eagle in New York City.
Okay. Three word.
Nope. I only get one answer. Okay, go.
No, you can give me another one.
Oh, I also love the bar Queer Bar that's in Seattle. And that one was super rad and radical.
What about it?
So just the queer scene in Seattle in general is epic. And they are very much more advanced than a lot of the cities in the States in terms of like pronouns and they will correct you immediately if you are wrong. And, they have Black performers and they have Black people that are running the show. So they're very like advanced in the queer space in Seattle. And this bar has karaoke. They have great drag shows. They have amazing cocktails, really cute boys. So I was down for that place.
Top of the list. What are 3 words that come to mind when I say New York City?
Magical, expensive, electric.
I like those. Something people often get wrong about you.
Something people often get wrong about me. I think a lot of times people are like, oh, he can't really be that extra. I am all the time.
Own it, baby.
Thank you.
Own it. Last show you binged and loved?
The Handmaid's Tale.
Are you caught up?
Uh-huh.
One episode left.
No.
in this season. Ooh, she was mad at the end of this last episode. Let's
I
just
will
say.
kill you.
Let's just uh, um, a concert you'll never forget.
A concert I'll never forget. Clearly, I forgot. A concert I'll never forget. Oh, Britney Spears in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's a good one, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you deeply grateful for at this moment in your life?
You know, I'm deeply grateful for mantras. It's so this I have this mantra that like I say all the time, that I am full of abundance, and really practicing that into my life. So I'm really grateful for the now. I'm grateful to be on your show, Alan. I'm grateful for the fact that the world gets to see this Orlando/Mount Dora episode. You know, I'm grateful for today. And, you know, we only have today. We aren't guaranteed tomorrow. We have right now. So I'm grateful for this body. I'm grateful for this new shirt from H&M. I'm grateful for, you know, I'm going to see my friends in like an hour. So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my own apartment. You know, it's the first time in my life where I've ever had my own place without any roommates. And I'm 37 years old. So I'm grateful for that, Hanny.
When did you get that?
I got that during COVID.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
I got some really great opportunities in the beginning of COVID to work with some cool companies, and got enough coin to get my own place.
That's all. And I'm sure, as you know, COVID was happening, a lot of people were moving. So rents,
I talked them down.
Rents came down. Okay, so the last quick round. Who was your first gay crush?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's still a crush. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? That's first, middle, and last. That's a good one. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a good one.
I remember him being on the cover of Waterworld. Remember that movie?
I don't.
Yeah, it was like some terrible movie about the end of the world. And he was wearing this wet shirt. And I was just like, I was 18 when I saw it. But I was like, I want to marry him.
Still do. Ravi, I could talk to you all the time. You are a delight. It is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on.
Wait, Shay just said June is killer this season. She sent me a private message. Totally. She is kicking butt. She is kicking butt. Everybody, do not forget to check out the Gaycation Travel Show on YouTube and Ravi Round the World on Instagram. My friend, I can't wait to see the rest of the season and all you do for Pride.
And thank you so much for the support.
And the last one, because I did ask it last year again. Tell me what Pride means to you.
Pride to me means to unapologetically live out loud. Pride also means a protest. And we are at a time, just like last year, if not more, where if we don't have equality for everyone, we don't have equality for anyone. So Pride, as much as it is a celebration and a being in your skin and living out loud, it is about remembering the people that paved the way for us and lifting up those that aren't lifted, and fighting for the rights for everyone in the LGBTQIA plus space, no matter what you look like, what color of skin you have, whether you're differently abled, whether you are American or not. It is a fight for rights.
It's true. And remember, out, love, hate. And the other thing, you end your show, and remember to what, Ravi? You end your show every show.
Stay safe, stay proud, and always remember to live out loud, Annie.
There you go. Happy Pride, my friend. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Mwah.
Bye. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to check out Ravi's show, Gaycation Travel Show. Have a great weekend. And remember, take a moment tomorrow to remember those 49 souls lost at the Pulse nightclub. Happy Pride, everybody, and have a great weekend.